साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ 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 साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्।
Dear devotees, you are about to embark on the greatest journey of your life, a journey to the core of your inner being. Please, all in a low voice, follow the Omkar and let your mind reach a quietude of silence. All together, let us repeat the pranava. Please sit up straight, and in the quietness of your mind, hear the sound of your breathing. Breathe in and out, in, out. Now, open your eyes and see the light in front of you. This is the light of a candle. Gaze intently at the light. Now, feel the light shining in the center of your forehead. Now half close your eyes and feel the light in the center of your forehead. Now, let that light come down your neck to the center of your chest. Imagine a flower, a lotus, opening petal by petal to receive the light. Now the light is resting on the lotus. The lotus disappears, only the light remains. But it is no more the light of the candle. It is a round ball of formless light. It is a light of divinity within you. Feel this light now expand, and feel the light going down your body, into your legs, up to your feet. Feel warmth as the light surges through your limbs. And make this mental vow, O Lord, my legs, touched by the light of your divinity, will always take me only to places of goodness. Feel the light surging upwards, up into your chest, around your shoulders, and down into your arms and fingers. Feel a warmth as this light surges through you. Make this mental vow, O Lord, my arms, touched by the light of your divinity, will only yearn to do what is good. Now feel the light surging upwards into your neck and into your face, into your head, and the light now shines in your eyes. Make a vow. My eyes must yearn to see only what is good. Feel the light now shining in your ears. My ears must yearn to hear only what is good. Feel the light now shining on your lips. My lips must yearn to only speak what is good. Now, feel this light now shining into your whole body. The light illumines the body. In your mind, repeat the words, the light is in me. Now feel the light expand. Expand, and you are now sitting in a ball of light, in a cone of formless light. Let your mind say, the light is within me. I am in the light. Feel a thrill of this light, and now feel this light expanding and filling this entire room with a divine glow. And let this light now go beyond this room, beyond and beyond, spreading ever further to this whole country, and beyond this country, beyond oceans and beyond nations. Let this light flow ever outwards to encompass the whole world. Now, imagine yourself, not your physical body, but an inner being within you, like a gigantic divine form, sitting on the globe, and the light of your divinity, the light of your love, encompassing the whole world. Stay for a moment, thrilled in that thought. Now, bring into your mind's eye and send your light of love to all the creatures of the world, all the animals and insects, creatures that fly or crawl, all of them are God's creatures. Send your light of love now to those whom you dislike or whom you think dislike you. Send your love, send your light of love to them. The same Atma in you is also in them. Let them feel the radiance of your light. Let them feel the radiance of your love. Now, into your mind's eye, bring those you love, your spouse, children, relations, friends, whoever. Bathe them with the divine glow of your love. Feel oneness with the whole world. Feel at peace with yourself. And now, look inside you. Can you imagine? Do you see a ball of light within you? In this ball of light, bring in the form of the Ishtadeva, the divine being that you love and worship. See this form smiling within you. See this divine form raise his hands in blessing. You have shared your love with the world. Now, receive the blessing and darshan of the divine within. Stay for a moment, thrilled in this thought that you and he are one. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
But deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Buddham Sharanam Gacchami, Dharmam Sharanam Gacchami, Sangham Sharanam Gacchami. Ek Omkar Satnam Karta Puraka Nirbhav Nirvair Akala Murata Ajuni Sarvan Guru Prasad Japa Ad Sacha Jugad Sacha है भी सच, नानक होसी भी सच।
अल्लाहु अकबर, अल्लाहु अकबर, अल्लाहु अकबर, अल्लाहु अकबर। अशहदु अन्ना इलाहा इल्लल्लाह, अशहदु अन्ना इलाहा इल्लल्लाह, अशहदु अन्ना मुहम्मदर रसूलल्लाह, अशहदु अन्ना मुहम्मदर रसूलल्लाह। हय्या अला सलाह, हय्या अला حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر، الله أكبر، لا إله إلا الله.
श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम्। गणानां त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे, कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमम्। ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनशृण्वन्नो दिविसीदसादनम्। प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजनीवती, वीणामविक्रयवतु। गणेशाय नमः, सरस्वत्यै नमः। श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम्। ॐ नमो भगवते रुद्राय। ॐ नमस्ते रुद्रमन्यव उतोतैषवे नमः। नमस्ते अस्तु नन्दने बाहुभ्यामुदते नमः। या तैषु शिवतमा शिवं बभूवते ननुः। शिवा शरव्याया तव दया नो रुद्रविणया। या ते रुद्रशिवा तनूरघो
ईशं जगत् शिवेन वचसा त्वा गिरिशाख्यावदामसि यथा नः सर्वमिज्जगत् यक्ष्मगुं सुमना असत अद्य वो जगति भक्ता प्रथमो दैव्योऽभिषक अरीगुश्च सर्वान् जम्बयत् सर्वाश्च यातु धान्यः असौ यस्ताम्रो अरुण उत बभ्रुस्सु मङ्गलः ये क्षेमागुं रुद्रा अवितो दिक्षु श्रिताः सहस्रशो विश्वाहुं एवरीमहे असौ यो वसर्पति नीलग्रीवो विलोहितः उतैनं गोपा अदृशन्नदृशन्नुदहार्यः उतैनं विश्वा भूतानि सदृष्टो मृडयातिनः नमो अस्तु नीलग्रीवाय सहस्राक्षाय मीदृशे अतो ये अस्य सत्त्वानो हन्तेभ्यो करन्नमः प्रमुञ्चदध्वनस्व उभयोराग्नियोज्याम् याश्च ते हस्त इषवः पराता भगवो वपा अवतद्यदनुस्वगुं सहस्राक्षशतेषु ते निशील्य शल्यानामुपा शिवो नः सुमना भवा विजन्तनुः कपर्दिनो विशल्यो बाणवागुं उता अनेशन्नस्येषव आहुरस्य निषङ्गतिः याते हेतिर्मीरुष्टमहस्ते बभूव ते धनुः त्वया स्वान् विश्वतस्त्वमयक्ष्मया परिभुजा नमस्ते अस्वायुधाय नातकाय कृष्णवे उभाभ्यामुत ते नमो बाहुभ्यां तव दन्वने परितेदरेतिरस्मान् गृणक्तु विश्वतः अतो यदिशुरिस्वभारे अस्मन्निवेदितम् नमस्ते अस्तु भगवन्विश्वेश्वराय महादेवाय त्रयम्बकाय त्रिपुरान्तकाय त्रिकाग्निकालाय कालाग्निरुद्राय नीलकण्ठाय मृत्युञ्जयाय सर्वेश्वराय सदाशिवाय श्रीमन्महादेवाय नमः। ॐ
I have to go to him and ask for forgiveness. So he stands under a tree, keeps looking at Swami's room, back and tells his mother, he says, Amma, I have seen God. This person came to Swami in a very young age. He belongs to a typical rural village farmer family from Nellore. He belongs to a family they don't do much. They have a small piece of land. They do a little bit of tilling on that land. They have some cattle. Whatever milk comes out of that, they sustain themselves. So he had a brother and a sister. So each one were given tasks. So he had to take the buffaloes and cows for grazing. His elder brother would have to work in the field with the father, and the daughter will help the mother. Actually, the sister was pretty young, so this boy had the job of taking the cattle, and he would come back in the evening and help his mother with the dishes and all of that. So for some reason, this boy at the age of 8, he did not feel like eating non-vegetarian food, though it was an acceptable thing in the family. Everybody in the family were non-vegetarians, but just his compassion towards animals did not permit him to be a non-vegetarian. So he chooses to become a vegetarian, imagine, at the age of 8. So even as he would take all this cattle for grazing, he had this little lamb, which he was very fond of. So he would always carry it along and wherever he would go. So one day, a group of people come to him and says, will you give us this lamb? So he says, no, it's my favorite lamb and I can't give it to you. So they say, we'll give you 5 rupees. This boy says, 5 rupees? He gets a little tempted. He says, no, but I want to keep my lamb. Okay, we'll give you 10 rupees. 10 is too much. Temptation is too much to resist. So he gives the lamb and takes 10 rupees. A couple of days later, his friends come and mockingly tell him, what do you think, you don't eat non-vegetarian food, you're a very compassionate person and all that. What happened to your lamb? I said, I sold it, somebody asked me. They liked the lamb more than I liked it. They were ready to offer so much money. I gave it to them. And then his friends laugh at him and say, do you know what happened? That lamb has become biryani now. They've eaten it up. This little boy, that hurt him so much. He said, I was responsible for this little lamb to die. He felt so pained by it. He went back home and he cried the whole night. He refused to eat food. His mother came and asked him, what happened? He said, no, I killed this lamb. So he says, no problem, don't worry, don't bother yourself about it. He says, no. I've been responsible for this. I don't know what I should do to atone. What should I do? Imagine, 8-year-old boy. And just then, one of the neighbors in that village had just returned from Prashanti Nilayam after having Swami's darshan. So in all her excitement, she has come to this house and she is describing to this boy's mother how Prashanti Nilayam is and how Swami is. And even as this little boy is hearing this description, he says, he is God, only he can forgive me. I have to go to him and ask for forgiveness. So he tells this aunt that, can you take me to this Baba? I have to, I've done this big crime and he has to come and forgive me. So everybody tries to tell him that, no, don't worry, it's such a small thing, don't be bothered about it. He says, no, till I take Swami's forgiveness, I will not eat a morsel of food. So then they decide, okay, let's take this boy. So this neighbor takes this little boy to Parthi, and they're coming from Nellore, right? Not very far away, it's in Andhra Pradesh only. They take 3 days to come to Puttaparthi. This is like in the 1960s. 3 days they come, and when they come to Parthi, it's pouring rain. The Swami is not giving darshan because there's no place to sit. So they come and they stand under a tree, and they don't know what to do. And he says, I will not eat food till I see Swami and I seek Swami's forgiveness. And even as he's standing, somebody tells him that mandir, that is where Swami stays. So he stands under a tree, keeps looking at Swami's room. He says, till Swami comes out, till I can ask him for forgiveness, I'm not going to move out of here. So after a few minutes, Swami comes out of his room. And all in gestures and through eyes, this boy cries. Swami says, it's okay. And Swami says, go. Pointing to his stomach. Swami says, go and eat. This boy is thrilled. He says, he has accepted my apology. So he goes, and it's a very short trip because Swami is not giving darshan. They return that very day. And he goes back and tells his mother, he says, Amma, I have seen God. Nobody can be as beautiful as that. Sai Baba must be God because nobody can be so beautiful. He's so beautiful. And imagine, this is the value mothers can teach. The mother, simple, uneducated village lady, she says, so what? She says, so what if you have seen God? Then what am I supposed to do? You should do Namasmarana, she says. It is waste if you have seen God and if you don't worship Him. You should do Namasmarana. So the mother gives him a japmala and mother says, you do Namasmarana every day. So he starts, I think, some Shri Sai Ram he does. And wherever he takes the cattle for grazing, he would sit under a tree and he would start doing his japa. So one day he comes up to his mother and tells her, Amma, something very strange is happening. See, generally when I would take my cattle for grazing, I had to always be behind them because otherwise they'll go into somebody's field. But ever since I've started doing this japam, all the cattle are so well behaved. I don't have to take care of them at all. They seem to be minding their own business. And the mother says, yes, that is natural. See, when you take God's name, God will take care of your work. And this little boy saying, just because I want to take his name, how can I let him to come and do my work? How can I trouble Swami like this? So he tells his mother, I am not going to do japam henceforth. The mother says, hey, you're feeling lazy and you don't want to do, and that's why you're doing all this. He says, no, Amma, I don't want Swami to come and do my work. So he says, I will take the cattle for grazing, I will take care of them, I will come back, I will help you in the housework, and then I will sit and do japam and then go to sleep. So every day he would do this, 8:30 to 9:30, he would sit and do his japam after finishing all the work and go to sleep. A few days later, one more lady in the village comes after spending about 1 week in Prashanti Nilayam, 1 week to 10 days. So the moment this boy comes to know that somebody has come from Prashanti Nilayam, he runs to that lady and she says, tell me about Swami, what does Swami do, how are things there? So this lady gives a description of entire, a complete day in Prashanti Nilayam, what time it starts, what all happens. And then she says around 7:30 Swami switches off his light and he retires. This boy is like, 7:30 Swami sleeps. I don't know if Swami sleeps, but 7:30 he switches off the light, so I'm guessing that he must be going to sleep. So then this boy asks, if I call Swami's name, will he listen? The lady says, Tapakunda, definitely he listens. Why you should have that doubt? Then how can I disturb Swami when he has already gone to sleep? He says, how can I disturb Swami? 7:30 he goes to sleep, 8:30 I'm disturbing him. So he goes to his mother and says, no, I'm not going to do japa. Again the mother says, hey, you're feeling lazy and you're trying to escape. The boy says, no, Amma, this is the thing. I won't do because I don't want to disturb Swami. See that innocent love. Right? Swami says, I've come to be loved like this. They try convincing, nothing works. He says, no, I will not do. Finally, they call one more lady and she says, see, it is not like that. Swami is everywhere. I don't think they would have explained to that kid the concept of time zones and all that. Because when Swami is sleeping here, he's waking time in America. Somebody must be calling him there. But they tell him, see, it is not like that. When we say Swami listens, it is the omniscient Swami, the omnipresent Swami who listens. You don't have to worry, you can do japam whenever you want. But this boy is not convinced. He says, okay, because all of you are telling he does japam. Then it so happens that after a few months, they decide to take this boy to Prasanthi Nilayam and stay for 1 week. Because this boy is so devoted to Swami. So they again take the 3-day journey, they come to Prasanthi Nilayam and they stay. So this boy is like following all the schedule from morning Nagar Sankirtan to Suprabhatam to everything. This boy is not used to that kind of weather probably. So after about 3-4 days he gets congestion, he starts coughing. So he is not able to go for Suprabhatam. So after a few days, Swami calls him for an interview. Swami picks him up from the crowd. Swami calls him inside the interview room. And Swami asks him, hey, 3 days I saw you in Suprabhatam. After that you are not seen. This boy, he is asking Swami, first of all, you never come for Suprabhatam. I have never seen you coming for Suprabhatam. He says, secondly, it is so dark, how will you know who has come, who has not come? And then Swami says, hey, Bichwada, wherever you are, whatever you do, Swami knows. I know everything. And this boy says, oh, is that so, Swami? And then he explains, no, Swami, I had cough and cold and congestion and all that. So I am not able to, I didn't want to disturb the others, so I didn't come. Swami says, oh, cough, why, what happened? Having phlegm and all that, Swami is like, doctor is asking. And then what Swami does, Swami waves his hand and materializes some vibhuti and pulls his shirt. Those days, typical small boy wearing knickers and shirt. Swami pulls his shirt, pulls his banyan and applies the vibhuti on his chest. And Swami says, don't worry, it will be fine. So he comes back and very excitedly he tells his mother whatever has happened inside the interview room. And imagine the mother is asking, you fool, why did you give that extra trouble to Swami? Why were you quiet till Swami had to lift your shirt and lift your banyan? And then this boy says, yes, why did I do that? Then he says, Swami, Amma, when you stand in front of him, you forget everything. He's so beautiful, you just look at him and you lose everything. You just forget yourself. And the most beautiful part is, he says, now he's a close to 70-year-old man, 70 or 60, I think he still serves in the canteen. He says the most beautiful thing was ever since Swami applied that vibhuti on his chest, this namasmarana has become nityasmarana. He says, I don't have to do because it goes on constantly here. Imagine the little boy's confusion. Should I do in the morning? Should I do in the evening? When is it disturbing Swami? When is it not disturbing Swami? In one stroke of that vibhuti on his chest, Swami has ensured it goes on endlessly. He says it has been 50 years, it has not stopped. What a blessing. He says, I don't have to think, it goes on and on and on. And even now when I'm speaking to you, it is going on and on, he says. Then he tells, the boy's innocence. One day he and his father were walking towards the field. And there is that village deity's shrine was there. So this boy observed that everybody who goes towards the temple would remove their footwear and bow down to that deity and, typically how we all do, and wear the slippers and go. So this boy looks at his father and says, what are they doing? Why are they doing like that? So they say, nothing, they're just praying to God before they go in for their work. He says, no, why are they removing their slippers when they're doing that? The father says, see, when you're taking God's name, you should not be wearing slippers, it's disrespectful. Boy says, is that so? When you're taking Swami's name, you should not be wearing slippers? He says, yes, it's a sign of disrespect. Then the boy says, but for me that name is going on all the time, how can I wear slippers? And so the father says, keep quiet, come now. Boy says, no, you tell me, this is a big problem for me now. And then and there he removes his slippers and throws it away and he says, henceforth I will never wear slippers because this name is going on all the time. Until today he doesn't wear slippers.
Jai Saram everyone, and a very happy new year to you all. We wish everyone a safe and peaceful new year ahead. The announcements for today. As you are aware, the COVID infection rates are continuing to rise. And as we announced last week, we will continue with online bhajans on YouTube for the time being. Our centre's monthly meeting is on Tuesday, 4th January 2022 from 7:30 p.m. on Zoom. Please do try to join in if you can and have your say on plans for our centre in 2022. Now for the thought of the day by Balika student Ishwar Subramaniam. Jai Saram.
I offer my most humble and loving pranams at the divine lotus feet of Bhagwan Sri Sathya Sai Baba, respected elders, brothers and sisters. Jai Sai Ram. From the new year, you have to understand the true meaning of humanness and transform your life. You will then be true servants of the nation. Play your part in every field of public life, keeping your heart pure and unsullied. Jai Sai Ram.
ईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्